And these are just into the rib so I can know which one above that is going to be my rib when I get started. Okay? And those are my vertical stripes. Okay, so then I have to decide which color I want for my vertical stripe. And I think I'm going to take a white one for this one. And I'm just setting these below me. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hook this into the yarn. Okay, and then I'm going to take my blue. This is a darker blue, finding the center, and I'm just setting them down on the floor below me. And I'm hanging that into the spot with enough so I can weave it in. And I need another color. Let's see, what do I want to do? Like I said, this is on the fly. Okay. And that one for there. You know, I think I'm going to do an uneven. Okay, I'm going to do that one there. And then I will do another blue here. Let me grab a little. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this one will be right here. As you can tell, there is no pattern at the moment. It's just whatever I feel like, wherever I feel like putting it. That's why I call it Plaid on the fly. Okay, and this one is going to go there. Okay, so we extend these because we're going to kind of do a tuck stitch, and then I'm going to knit one row. And then going in the direction of the carriage, so I got these all tucked with enough hanging so I can weave it in at a later date. Then I'm going to manually stitch this stitch. Okay? And then push it back out. Manually stitch this stitch and push it back out. And do that all the way down. Now you're also going to do this all the way up for every row. Okay, so knit another row. I've got those few. Okay, and then going in the direction of my carriage. Maintaining the same type of tension on, whoops. It's because my yarn is loose underneath there, so give it a little snug and stitch it. And stitch it and leave it out. Okay, so that was 2 rows, and I'm at 10, and I want to make it easy for myself. So this one is going to be a different color, and I think I'll do one of my browns. And I'm going to have to get some more skein. Like I said, this is Plaid on the fly. I probably should have thought it out better, but alright. I always put my clips someplace else, so I'm going to do 2 rows of this brown. Okay. And this is the same brown that's coming down my middle. Okay, did the one. Now this was supposed to stay out, and it didn't. So I need to move it out. I need to unstitch it, basically. Because going in the direction of the carriage, I wanted to stitch it. So I want these, my vertical stripes, to go all the way up. Now I am not going to do it in any rhyme or reason, because stripes have all kinds of different shapes when they do it, all different widths for the stripe. Now after I get a certain amount of rows, I will reform my outside edge and lay in the yarn in the direction of the carriage. Okay, now I'm only going to do 2 rows of those. Then I change it from my main color. And I'm on row 12. Ew, not a pretty sight. For some reason my latches were open or closed. So just rehang this carefully, and I'm supporting the weight underneath it. So I'm not putting any weight on it. And I'm picking up, if I can get the stitch, I'll grab the stitch. If I can't, I'll go below the stitch and rehang that. I think what happened is some of the latches were not in the right position. But as long as you don't put any weight on it, no big problems. You just have to manually stitch these when you get them back hung up on the machine. Okay. Got one left to hang. Okay, now first off, move that out of the way. You'll be getting it back in a minute. Second, rehang, restitch these that came out. Okay. And I'm back to this point where I started to restitch. Okay, and just restitch them. Now this one does not get stitched because the blue got stitched. Go right beside it, you'll stitch it. That one you'll restitch. That one's fine. This one needs to be restitched. And that one. And that one. Now while you're doing this, try not to unstitch the ones that you have stitched. Okay, and that one should be enough. And that brown goes below it. Yep. Now these are forward of the latches. I'm going to bring them into the forward working position with the latches open. And now that one's all the way forward, remember? That one's all the way forward. That one's forward, that one's forward. Okay, so these have to be restitched. And since it's halfway, I'm just going to restitch them manually. Okay, because it's just as easy. Oops. It's just as easy to stitch them manually. Pull these out. Now if you want to have a specific row with a specific color, you could easily design it in a spreadsheet or a table like a knitting chart if you choose, but I just wanted it plaid on the fly. And knit these. I'll get those for you in just a minute. Now I'm just going to be doing a random rows of my blue. Okay. Just double checking everything. Alright, and then I come back. So now I got to do this row because I just knitted that row. Got to do this stitch in this row. And I always lay it in the direction of where the carriage is setting, just as if I had knitted it with a machine. Okay, and then I will knit a row. I'm listening, so I really don't want to do that again. Part of it, I think what happened was the yarn got snagged on something. Now these two end ones did not stitch, so what I will manually stitch them and move my weight up. And while I'm doing it, I'll move my weights up over here. And the one I did earlier was a white and brown, ended up more like a checkers than anything. Okay, forward, 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 forward. Then lay the yarn in the direction of the carriage, because I just knitted that row. One of the ways you can tell where you are, if you've knitted the row, that ladder, that stitch going across the needle, will be below the needle. Otherwise you'll end up in two stitches in the same row and it will bubble. Okay, so I got 2 rows done of the blue. I'm going slowly across. Alright, I gotta find out why it's doing that. As soon as I noticed it was dropping stitches, I stopped. And I'm supporting the weight with my lower hand and rehanging these. It's kind of like what a tuck stitch, but we're adding a thread going up. Okay, so those are back. In this case, I'm going to re-stitch this whole row because I want to listen to what it's doing. Okay, let's get these. Now if you've got an intarsia, that might work just as well, which we may try that. Okay, now I'm on 15, so I gotta move it to 14. Okay, now let's try this stitch again. I've got no tension on the yarn. Needles are in the right place. Maybe if I pull them back a little bit, feels right. Now if that works this case, that's telling me I don't have enough weight on it. Okay, and I probably don't have enough weight on it. Now this one's stitched when I did not really want it to stitch, so just undo it. And bring out another weight. With these color changes, it may need more weights than you're used to using. Okay, now always go in the direction of the carriage and manually stitch these. And these are your vertical stripes. I'm not going to be overly worried about the amount of rows I'm doing. but I'm looking for something that's going to be about 25 inches long. Okay, bring the weights up, kind of snug it up a little bit, and knit that row carefully, listening to your work, making sure you have no stress on the threads themselves, except for where the weight is. Okay, and that worked out really well. Okay, and always lay the work in the direction of the carriage to do these vertical rows. And that is how I do plaid on the fly. Now when I get it further on done and where I can show you what it looks like. Now these are just going to be varied rows of blues and browns. I'm only going to do 2 rows of browns, but I am going to do at least 5 or 6 rows of the blue